Now I can ask you this: have you thought about getting into like any other ventures, or you just strictly sticking with the frame where?
We do fashion as well. So this is our second year in fashion. I got on some now. And you will see a lot of different things come out. Actually, I'm in my office where you'll see a lot of different stuff that we do. From apparel to jackets. We're really custom, so we do a lot of custom things that you wouldn't see in Cleveland at all. So we're really really custom.
Okay, okay. Now I can ask you a little bit about that. Now, is it what was the transition like going from just making like frame wear to actually getting into clothing? Is it a
Yeah.
similar
It's
process or
similar,
is it
similar,
different?
similar, but learning, your tech packs and, learning what fashion designing is all about, learning what cut and sew is, finding the right manufacturers to be able to bring your dream to life, and that's the real key. The biggest problem that we have right now in the fashion market, African American side, is everybody's making sweatsuits. Everybody's making, so they're buying sweatsuits and putting their name on them and all that good stuff. There's so much a bigger life out here. Learn how to create this sweatsuit, create this hoodie from scratch. Learn the materials and learn the things that make Gucci brands sell for thousands of dollars, and while ours only sell for hundreds of dollars or a few dollars. There's a difference in materials.
Okay, okay. Man, so I guess I could ask you a little bit more about that. Like, what obstacles do you feel like you have faced just by being a black man in this industry? You know what I'm saying? Because there's not a lot of us, and you like leading the way, so you might be covering a lot of new terrain that you could
We
share with.
do.
You know
Yeah,
what
we
I'm
do.
saying?
Obstacles. I mean, especially in the optical world, the optical world in the country in the U.S. is more of a Jewish based. So it's really selling your product to them, to be in their stores, and until you open up your own store, then you can't. You can break the chain of that. Even in the city of Cleveland, we only have three black opticians. We have one black optometrist, that handles African Americans. So it's kind of tough, and that's just in this city, and we cover the whole country. So it's a lot of obstacles everywhere you go.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. I appreciate you sharing that because
Oh yeah,
sometimes it's a touchy subject, not to put you on the spot or nothing, but it's like I don't know. It's like sometimes like you were saying, like our people will pay more for another brand
sure.
from another group of people, but then when they come to us, like even with any type of business, let me get a deal, let me get it for the low, or they don't even, you know what I'm
Well, you know
saying?
what? There's a reason though. There's a reason for that, and
Mhm.
the reason is we do not demonstrate longevity. That's the problem. When you think of most local independent brands, how long are they really in existence? Were they here for a summer? Were they here for a year and then fizzled? You know, um, I guarantee you can't name too many local independent brands that stayed more than 2 years, and that's the problem. See, sustainability is the key to anything. So if you learn how to sustain, you become a household name. So kind of in the city here, I built up kind of a household name. So people in different areas, you by the time you touch 10 people, somebody knows what David Ford is. So you start building up that household name, and that's important.
Yeah, yes it is, man. Your name been ringing for a while, man. Um, So yeah, I kind of want to speak to that a little bit, like say like with our community, maybe it's the hip hop community. It seemed like say like we might be wearing throwbacks for like a couple years, and we
Hmm.
might be button ups, and we might be white tees, and we might
Yep.
be baggy, and we might be skinny jeans. But it seemed like other groups of people, they pretty much got their own like set of clothes that they'll wear,
Sure.
for like a long, like, or even with white brands, it seemed like Gucci would come back out, or Coogee would come back out, or Polo or Guess. They could just last for so much longer. Why is it that like Fubu or something, it might be through the roof for 2-3 years, but then it's gone forever? It seemed like, not saying that they're not still around, but then, or like, say something like Rockaware, it'll be through the roof for a minute. Or even with the artists, like,
I agree.
so like if Run DMC want to do a show, or compared to like Guns N' Roses or something, they could sell out a whole stadium, tickets packed, but it's like people look at Run DMC like, oh, they might not be cool no more.
Yeah. Well, that has a lot to do with us as a culture. By nature, we are followers. As African Americans, we don't know how to break the trends. And I talk about this all the time. In the 60s and 70s, those were trend setters. They set the trends. Unfortunately, in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, we lost our trends. So we started to follow what became popular. A good trendsetter is Cartier. Cartier glasses has been around since the 50s. Okay, and it just kept following and following and going and going. And what happened was, in the 70s, it became repopular. So your athletes made it popular. In the 80s, your stars made it popular. In the 90s, more stars made it popular. In the 2000s, people made it popular. So it's a trend. So until we figure out how to make things a trend that's going to stick, that's what happens. And Cartier ain't changed a single frame. Same with Ray-Ban. Ray-Ban ain't changed a doggone thing. People buy the same Ray-Bans every single year.
Man,
no problem, right?
Right, exactly. Man, I'm gonna have to give me a pair, man. I gotta get into it, man, to keep you around, keep that
I
trend
appreciate
going.
that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's an honor. But I'm glad you had kind of mentioned the 60s, because I'm an author. I wrote a book about I know you probably heard about the Huff riots, Glenville
Absolutely.
riots. My uncle, he started this group called the Afro Set. So they was like the Panthers, but they was more Afrocentric. So he was like at the forefront of teaching black people in Cleveland and Huff about African history, African language, African fashion. So they would make their own dashikis. They would make their own dresses and sandals and earrings and necklaces, and it would generate money. Then they would throw fashion shows, and then they was just doing so much on their own. But it's like, unfortunately, due to like COINTELPRO and things like that, they got wiped out. And it's like,
absolutely,
that's one of the things that we lost.
Sure.
Especially in the city, man.